everyone, my name is Hadu Abbas and welcome to Tiger Talks. Today I'm gathered with
Maryam Al-Jamal
and Rana Abdullah. And we have our special guest, Abdelrahman.
So go ahead, introduce yourself to the viewers or listeners. What's your name and what sports do you play?
My name is Abdelrahman and I play squash and volleyball for RIT Dubai.
So why do you think we invited you to the interview today?
I think I am one of the few athletes who play for two varsity teams, which is squash and volleyball, as I have mentioned before.
So can you share the story of how you got started in volleyball, squash? Like what motivated you to pursue in the sport?
So since when I was a little kid, my brothers and their friends used to play volleyball in front of my house. I started developing an interest in it, and I started playing with them, and I joined the team later. And about squash, I used to play a lot of racket sports like badminton, tennis, a little bit of paddle. So I tried giving a shot to squash, and it's going pretty well, alhamdulillah.
So you joined the team when you were younger with your brothers?
No, I started university in 2022.
So you joined, that was your first volleyball team?
That was my first. I joined So first I used to play badminton, and then I didn't want to play badminton anymore, so I joined the squash team. And I just first initially started off as just me trying out for the sake of it, and then I realized I was pretty good at it, so I ended up joining the team. I ended up making the tryouts and joining the team.
Wow, congratulations.
Which sport did you join first? Volleyball or squash?
Between the both of them, squash first, but the first ever sport I played for varsity was badminton.
How about in terms of community? Do you say that you developed good friendships between your teammates?
Yes, I'm still in touch with a lot of my friends and from both of the teams, the badminton and the squash teams. We're pretty close people, and we played as a team, which built a lot of team spirit within us, and we're pretty close friends now.
So what was your motive for stepping into volleyball or squash, and what keeps you passionate about it?
I mean, I just like sports in general. I've always been interested in sports. I've always been pretty athletic and pretty interested in playing sports. So yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I joined. I just picked up both of the sports pretty quickly. So that's pretty much the reason for me joining.
And between the two, which one do you enjoy the most, would you say?
I mean, I enjoy the both of them actually. Squash, I like how quick it is and how fast paced it is. As a single 1v1 sport, it's really fun. And the thing that I like about volleyball is that it's a team game, and I enjoy being with a team and playing being a team player. So yeah, I mean, both of them have their respective I would say pros, but yeah, I if I had to pick one, I would probably go for squash.
Okay. Now, how do you balance between dealing with two varsities at the same time, along with being an industrial engineer, which is a lot of load work? Do you find any challenges with that?
I mean, yeah, sometimes I kind of get really tight and have a really tight schedule. Sometimes I find it really hard to get my assignments and stuff done on time. But yeah, I do manage it. I mean, I take it seriously, but not too seriously, since I am not planning to pursue a career in sports. So yeah.
So you said that you started playing varsity and volleyball team. So how do you typically train and prepare for the matches and the competitions and talk about?
So the matches and the competitions and stuff. So we have our normal training drills and stuff during the normal days. But when it's when we have when we have particular matches or tournaments or something, I talk to the coach. I work with the coach and I ask them about if they've noticed any weakness in my game, and I take tips from them and I take tips from them and basically work on them a little bit. And I also try to stay in the right headspace before a match. And if I try to not tire myself too much, that is pretty much how I prepare for it.
Is there anything that discourages you from playing?
Sometimes losses are really discouraging, but then I pull through and I go. Winning and losing is a part of every sport. It just happens. So I managed. It's all in your head, I would say, how you take a loss, and I take a loss as an opportunity to learn and get over it.
And have you seen progress with that and
Yes.
your abilities?
Yes, I have seen pretty good progress in my squash skills and volleyball skills as well. I mean, because I've just played since for volleyball, I've just played for a very unorganized and just with my friends, in a very informal way, I would say. But after joining the team at RIT, I started to play like proper organized volleyball, and that's been pretty fun. That's been amazing so far.
So you said that you played in matches and all, and one of the games I'm assuming is one of the universities, American University of Sharjah. Can you share like a particular memorable victory or achievement that stands out in your career or like your passion?
And for me personally, the game that I had at AUS, in that game I usually it was pretty memorable because that was one of the only 2 tournaments that we had, and in the first one that we had a full victory, and then in the second one as well we got second place. And in both of the tournaments that I have played for squash, I ended up winning both of my matches against both of my opponents, and it's been pretty good. I'd like to say I'm a pretty good player.
So what do you enjoy most about playing volleyball, squash, and what keeps you motivated to continue?
I mean, the things that as I've mentioned before, that I like the fact that squash is a solo sport, and it's more I would say more technique based, and the thing that I like about volleyball is the fact that it's a team sport, and I enjoy playing with my team a lot.
Do you feel like you give yourself more criticism in squash since it's mainly dependent on your abilities, or do you feel like if it's a group thing with volleyball, then you give yourself more attention?
Yes, I mean, since it's a solo sport, I tend to give myself more, I tend to be a little more harsh on myself, even if it's a simple, very tiny mistake. But yeah, I mean, you're correct. I mean, when it comes to squash, I go a little harder on myself than I should be.
So are you currently playing squash during this season?
Yeah, I'm playing squash during this season as well.
So I'm assuming you also played in last year's season, right?
Yeah.
So in comparison between the 2 years where you played squash in your first year and now you're playing squash and volleyball, which between the 2 seasons, which one would you say is better? In terms of like games planning, like entirely.
Yes, for sure. It's this season, this semester, because the last semester was the first semester for squash at RIT. So it was still a very initial. It was in the initial stages. I mean, it was basically a learning curve for all of us, And yeah, this season is way better because I have improved quite a lot. I've learned a lot, and yeah, so this season overall.
Now, knowing how sports is taking a rigorous part of your life, has it ever taken a mental or physical toll on you?
Yeah, it sometimes does when I don't get enough sleep or when I'm stressed about my assignments or my university work. Sometimes it happens, but at the end of the day, you having an athlete mindset makes it easier for you to basically cope with it.
And what is an athlete mindset to you?
Oh, that's a really amazing question. So an athlete mindset is basically you have to always be prepared to win and to lose, and you have to stay humble in victory and strong in defeat. And that is a very key, that's a very, I would say, key factor in having an athlete-like mindset. And that is one of the only things that is, in my opinion, pretty important. And also putting in the work and having a balanced life in terms of having friends, in terms of diet, in terms of work, in terms of everything.
So did you have any injuries before?
Injuries, I mean, when I was a kid, I dislocated my knee, which kind of sometimes when I'm during training, if I've had a hard session, if I've had a pretty high intensity session, then sometimes I had to stop training midway to give my knee a little rest because I had actually dislocated it when I was a kid. When I was, I think, in grade 4 or 5.
And it still hurts till now?
Yeah, it does.
So you said that you don't see yourself pursuing either volleyball or squash as a career. But if you have the chance to play, for example, a team here, would you join or join for a bit and then leave? What would you do?
What do you mean join a team? Can
So you know how there's
rephrase your question?
So you know how there's basketball, national teams, for example, or there are, for example, handball. So if there is one for volleyball or squash, would you join for fun, and then who knows, could possibly be a career, or would you just join to experience it? What would you do?
I mean, realistically speaking, I come from India. I mean, and there's only a very few sports that take you to the national and international level. One thing, and the second thing is that to actually be a full-time athlete, you have to pretty much devote your life to it. You have to start playing from a really young age, and you have to fully dedicate yourself to it. And me being a student and my main priority not being joining any careers and joining a career in sports, I wouldn't do that. I mean, because I don't have the necessary. I'm not as skilled as national level or international players, of course. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would say that I wouldn't join any particular.
Okay, if we go back to then, you being in RIT athletics, do you see yourself being a leader in either of the teams, or you just want to be one of the other positions?
I mean, for squash, there's no such thing as a leader, because I mean there is a team captain, but there isn't anything like a leader of sorts, because it's a pretty solo match. It's a solo game. And I'm sorry,
would you be team captain then, or is
I mean, yeah, I would be a team captain, but there's my team captain currently. He has more experience in squash than I do, and he's been playing for a longer time, and he is also a better player than me. So yeah, which makes him, I think, more suited to be a team captain.
Okay, Abdurrahman, let's take this back to what RIT has to give and their facilities. Do you feel like RIT could give more opportunities or maybe equipment or things that could be more offered in squash or volleyball?
I mean, so far RIT has a really amazing infrastructure and the sports complex facility and everything. It's really nice, and the coaches as well, they're really amazing. But yeah, for squash as of now, it's a pretty new sport in Dubai, so there's not too many teams and not too many players competing on a varsity level. So I mean, this is outside of university, but I would like for there to be more people, more universities and more people competing for squash.
You said that your teammate or your captain for squash is a better teammate, is a better player in general.
Yeah.
Do you think that because he's a better player, he was chosen to be captain?
Yeah, I think so, and also because he's older than I am.
So it's not because like leadership skills or like.
I mean, that does play a part, but as I said, since this is a very solo sport, the only people who we as teammates and me most of the time ask about my game and everything is directly to my coach. So I mean, my coach is pretty. She's very easy. Like I can reach out to her pretty easily. So there's not that. I mean, I didn't necessarily feel the need for a captain.
Okay. So do you think talent plays a role in sports?
Oh yeah, it definitely does a lot. I mean, I have, as I've said before, I've had a knack for racket sports, which made me catch the sport really quickly. Even though I played squash for the first time at last semester at RIT, and I caught on to it pretty quickly. I improved a lot. And yeah, talent plays a very, very huge role when it comes to sports. I mean, yes, you can, hard work will definitely beat talent, but unless, I mean, you need to have a certain level of talent for that hard work to act as a catalyst in improving your game.
So, speaking of talent, do you believe there's an area you slack in or you could wish to have more talent in or hard work put into it?
Yes, I definitely need to put in more hard work in when it comes to the respective sports that I play. I tend to slack off sometimes, not sometimes, very rarely though, not train and stuff. But yeah, I need to, as I said before about the athlete mindset, I need to improve. I need to work on it more.
Wait, so are you a smoker?
Yeah, I am a smoker, and I occasionally smoke.
And that affects you in a way in sports?
Yes, it does affect me. It affects the way I train. It affects my stamina. And yeah, and for any sport you play, stamina is one of the most important things you need to have.
Are you willing to
Quit.
commit to, yeah, exactly, quitting to the smoking for your abilities to be better?
Yes, I significantly reduced smoking by quite a lot when I joined the respective teams.
Very proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I significantly reduced smoking, and yeah, it helped me in a very positive way quite a lot. When it came to my mental health, when it came to my physical health, a lot. And yeah, and those are the things which plays a very huge role when you play sports.
And it was RIT that helped you stop, yeah? Or was it something else?
No, I would say
Personal.
it was me personally who wanted to stop.
Okay, fair
I mean, I
enough.
don't understand how RIT will help me quit smoking, but
No, like to
Okay.
be more into
Could
the
be the
team.
trainings, you know, like just the trainings or?
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, whatever you do, it's on you to do good or to do bad. And I realized pretty quickly that smoking is really bad, so I wanted to stop it.
Great.
Before we wrap it up, you've only played in one university, right? Which is AUS, American University of Sharjah.
Yeah.
So you see that there are basketball league, volleyball league, and then like they play, for example, bits. Which university or do you wish to have a squash league? Because I know there's volleyball, but do you wish to have the same for squash? And which universities do you want to compete against?
I mean, I want to compete against anyone who's willing who's willing to play, but I don't have any particular universities in mind that I want to play with. I mean, anyone who's willing to step on the court and have a good time, I am willing to play against them.
Is there really no interesting specific university from your volleyball experiences?
Because we know basketball is a good university.
Yeah.
And when it comes to volleyball and basketball.
No, basketball is not a good university for volleyball. I mean, it's decent, I would say. It's not as talented as RIT is. And when it comes to volleyball, Amity is pretty good. And RIT is actually one of the best ones.
Interesting.
And squash, the few universities that have it is NYU, AD, and AUS. And I think Wollongong as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah.
Okay. Before we wrap it up, one last question. What advice would you give to aspiring volleyball squash players who are considering to join RIT Athletics Dubai?
I mean, I necessarily don't have advice because I don't consider myself to be good enough to give advice to someone. But I mean, if anybody would want to try it out, it's you're more than welcome to. I mean, you have amazing facilities here and you have good coaches. And if you're looking to improve more on your game and if you want to play in general, it's really fun.
Great.
It was very nice having you here with us, Abdelrahman, and
Thank
we
you so much.
appreciate
It's
it.
a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
And that was our wrap up for our first very episode as Tiger Talks. Thank you.